There was a time when a car built in the 1960s or 1970s could stay on the road for 30, 40, even 50 years. Today, many modern vehicles struggle to reach the same lifespan without expensive repairs. And that raises an uncomfortable question. Why did old cars seem to last longer than new ones? Not because they were more advanced, not because engineers were smarter. In many ways, modern cars are faster, safer, cleaner, and more efficient. But durability? That is where the story becomes interesting. Because hidden inside old workshops, factory archives, and engineering manuals is a forgotten philosophy that modern manufacturing slowly abandoned. And once you see it, you may never look at cars the same way again. In the early days of the automobile industry, companies like Ford Motor Company, General Motors, and Mercedes-Benz were building vehicles for a very different world. Roads were rough, fuel quality was inconsistent, repairs were common, and many drivers lived far from professional service centers. That meant a car had to be repairable. Mechanics needed space to work, parts needed to be accessible, and components were often built with large safety margins because manufacturers knew the vehicles would face harsh conditions. Take the Ford Model T introduced in 1908. It became famous not just for its price, but for its simplicity. Farmers repaired them with basic tools. Owners learned maintenance themselves. Some parts could be fixed instead of replaced. That mindset continued for decades. In the 1950s, many American and European cars used thicker steel, simpler mechanical systems, and engines that could often be rebuilt multiple times. A worn engine was not automatically considered finished. It was repaired, remachined, rebuilt, returned to service. Even military vehicles followed a similar philosophy. During and after World War II, engineers designed equipment that could be maintained in difficult environments. Reliability and field repair mattered more than sleek packaging. But the roots of this idea go back even further. Roman engineers maintained carts, water systems, and machinery for years through regular servicing. Medieval blacksmiths repaired tools repeatedly instead of discarding them. Japanese craftsmen developed traditions of maintaining equipment for generations. Different cultures, same principle. Build it to be maintained, not thrown away. Then something changed. By the late 20th century, cars became increasingly complex. Electronics, sensors, emission systems, and tightly packed engine bays transformed vehicles into highly optimized machines. They became more efficient, but they also became harder to repair. Many components that were once serviceable became sealed units. Replacement often became cheaper than rebuilding. And consumers gradually accepted the idea that a car was something you eventually replaced, not something you kept for life. Modern engineering did not forget durability. It simply prioritized different goals: fuel economy, emissions, safety regulations, weight reduction, cost efficiency. Those goals produced remarkable technology, but they also changed the relationship between people and their vehicles. Older cars were often designed with the expectation that someone would repair them for decades. Many modern cars are designed with the expectation that major components may eventually be replaced, and that is a very different philosophy. Modern studies on product life cycles, manufacturing costs, and automotive maintenance continue to show that repairability has become an increasingly important issue worldwide. Consumers are asking a question that sounds surprisingly old-fashioned. Why can't we fix things as easily as we used to? Because once vehicles became harder to maintain, something else happened. Repair knowledge started disappearing, and that is where the real story begins. So, did car companies suddenly forget how to build reliable vehicles? Not exactly. The truth is far more complicated. Modern cars are engineering masterpieces. They produce more power from smaller engines, burn less fuel, and emit fewer pollutants than vehicles built 50 years ago. But achieving those improvements required compromise. Every kilogram mattered. Every gram of fuel mattered. Every emissions target mattered. Engineers were no longer designing only for durability. They were designing for efficiency, safety, emissions, manufacturing cost, and global competition, all at the same time. And that changed everything. Take engine oil, for example. Older engines often used thicker oils because their internal tolerances were larger. The thicker oil created a stronger protective film between moving parts, helping reduce wear under harsh conditions. Modern engines, however, are built with extremely tight tolerances. Manufacturers often recommend thinner oils because they reduce internal resistance, improve fuel economy, and help meet strict environmental regulations. It's a different philosophy. Neither is automatically better. They're designed for different priorities. Now think about engine bays. Open the hood of a car from the 1970s. You can usually see almost everything. Spark plugs are easy to reach. Belts are visible. Many components can be replaced with ordinary hand tools. Now open the hood of many modern vehicles. Plastic covers, electronic modules, sensors, turbochargers, high-pressure fuel systems. Everything is packed tightly together. This makes the vehicle more efficient, but it also makes repairs more difficult. Something that once took 30 minutes may now require several hours of labor. Think about that for a moment. The car itself may not be less reliable, it has simply become far more complex, and complexity changes the cost of ownership. The global automotive aftermarket, including replacement parts, maintenance, and repair, is worth hundreds of billions of dollars every year. That doesn't mean companies intentionally build bad cars, but it does mean there's enormous economic value in replacement parts, specialized tools, and dealer servicing. As vehicles became more computerized, independent mechanics faced new challenges. A problem that once required a wrench now might require specialized diagnostic software. Simple mechanical knowledge slowly gave way to digital diagnostics. Old mechanics listened to engines. Modern technicians often connect laptops. Both approaches have value, but one important skill slowly faded: understanding how to prevent problems before they begin. Old mechanics believed maintenance was the first repair: regular oil changes, cooling system inspections, cleaning, lubrication, checking unusual sounds before they became expensive failures. Those habits extended the life of almost every machine. Modern engineering agrees. Mechanical wear is rarely caused by one dramatic event. Instead, it usually happens gradually. Tiny particles circulate through lubricants. Heat slowly breaks down protective films. Rubber seals age. Metal expands and contracts thousands of times. Eventually, those small changes become noticeable. That's why preventive maintenance remains one of the most effective ways to extend engine life. Not expensive miracle products, not magic additives, simple, consistent care. Many laboratory studies in tribology, the science of friction, lubrication, and wear, continue to show that reducing friction and maintaining clean lubrication dramatically slows component wear. In other words, the old mechanics were right about one thing: take care of the engine before it asks for help. If you've watched this far, you've already discovered something many drivers never think about. The secret wasn't hidden inside a mysterious chemical. It wasn't locked away in an expensive machine. It was hidden inside a mindset. Repair before replacing, maintain before repairing, protect before damage occurs. That philosophy kept countless vehicles running for decades. But here's the biggest question. If the old mechanics weren't using magic, what exactly were they doing every single week that helped engines survive for hundreds of thousands of miles? The answer is surprisingly simple, and it's something almost every driver can still learn today. In the next part, we'll break down the forgotten maintenance habits that helped old cars stay on the road for decades, and why many of them still work just as well today. So, what was the real secret? It wasn't a miracle liquid, it wasn't an expensive machine, and it certainly wasn't a hidden button that manufacturers hoped nobody would find. The real secret was surprisingly simple. Old mechanics believed that an engine should never be allowed to slowly destroy itself. Instead of waiting for warning lights or major failures, they looked for the earliest signs of trouble: a small oil leak, a slight change in engine sound, a loose belt, a dirty air filter, a weak battery connection. Tiny problems, because they knew something modern drivers often forget. Small problems become expensive problems. Here's exactly what many experienced mechanics did. First, they changed engine oil on time. Not because advertisements told them to, because oil is the engine's first line of defense. Fresh oil carries away heat, traps contaminants, and creates a protective film between moving metal parts. As oil ages, it slowly loses that protection. Old mechanics understood that clean oil was always cheaper than a new engine. Second, they paid attention to the cooling system. Heat is one of an engine's greatest enemies. Even a healthy engine can suffer if it constantly runs too hot. That's why experienced mechanics regularly checked coolant levels, radiator condition, hoses, water pumps, and thermostats. A simple coolant service could prevent thousands of dollars in repairs. Third, they listened. Literally. Many veteran mechanics could identify problems before opening the hood. A ticking sound, a knocking noise, a rough idle, a squealing belt. Every sound told a story. Modern diagnostic computers are powerful tools, but experienced ears are still incredibly valuable. Fourth, they kept everything clean. Dust, dirt, old grease, and oil leaks don't just make an engine look bad. They trap heat. They hide developing problems. They accelerate wear. A clean engine makes inspection easier and helps mechanics notice leaks before they become serious. Fifth, they drove with mechanical sympathy. They avoided hard acceleration before the engine reached operating temperature. They didn't overload cold engines. They allowed turbocharged engines to cool properly after heavy driving. Simple habits, huge difference. Many classic cars that have survived 40 or 50 years share one thing in common. They weren't lucky, they were maintained. Visit almost any classic car show today and you'll hear the same story. This car has never had a major engine failure. Not because it was indestructible, because someone cared for it year after year. The owner respected the machine, and that's perhaps the biggest lesson old mechanics left behind. Cars don't usually fail overnight. They give warnings. The question is whether someone notices them. Modern vehicles may contain hundreds of sensors. Old mechanics had something different: experience, patience, observation. They understood that every machine follows the same basic rules: reduce friction, control heat, keep fluids clean, fix small issues early, do those 4 things consistently, and almost any engine has a better chance of living a long life. So, why do old cars seem to last longer than new ones? Maybe they didn't. Maybe what lasted longer was the way people cared for them. The old generation expected to repair things. Today's world often expects to replace them. That's a very different mindset. And perhaps that's the forgotten secret. Not hidden inside the engine, hidden inside the mechanic. The knowledge was never lost. It simply stopped being taught. The old farmers knew it. The military mechanics knew it. The garage owners knew it. Your grandfather's mechanic probably knew it too. They didn't rely on expensive miracle products. They relied on understanding how machines worked. And the amazing part is, those principles still work today. If you found this forgotten piece of automotive history interesting, make sure to subscribe, because every week we uncover old workshop secrets, hidden engineering knowledge, and practical techniques that history almost erased. Because sometimes the best innovation is remembering what we already knew.